Welcome back to the Unlucky Enterprise on Verdante. So, since in our last video, I went through and I destroyed this slime biome that was over here. Afterwards, I discovered that there's actually a little bit of crude oil here as well as an oil reservoir. I don't know that this is the actual oil biome, but that is really close to my base, which is kind of exciting because I'm hoping because it allows me to get into petroleum and petroleum products sooner rather than later. So I don't have to go all the way down to the bottom of the map in order to get that. Now, the challenge is that this is going at 80 degrees Celsius. It's all in carbon dioxide, so if I want to work in there, I'm going to probably want Atmos suits. I've got about 10 reed fibers, which is sufficient. Because it's so close, if I put the Atmos suits about here, have my duplicates running in and out of there, it shouldn't slow them down too much. The problem with Atmos suits, I'm just gonna pop this up here. Atmo. The problem with Atmos suits is that they actually, well, I guess it doesn't tell you that in here, but it will slow your duplicate speed by about 7. So it will reduce their athletics by 7, making them be extremely slow moving when they have their Atmos suits on. So generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to try to get the exosuit wearing, which reduces the exosuit penalty and gives your duplicates 2 additional athletics, so it speeds them up a little bit. I don't have anybody that is ready for that yet, but uh, yeah, and in order to get that, what I'm really wanting is I'm wanting to have better food so that my duplicates have enough morale in order to have more skills. Now, for skills, one of the things that's important to remember is that skills, your duplicates can have a number of skills equal to their morale, otherwise they start gaining a lot of stress. Excuse me. Now, as you can see, this duplicate here has 12 morale. He can have currently has 1, 2, 3 skills for a total, which need a total of 6 morale. That they have more morale than they require, so they're not going to have any stress. However, if I were to say give a bunch, critter wrenching 3 to Ogawa here, what would happen is that she would end up with more morale needed than she actually has, which would increase her stress. There are a number of ways to increase your morale. One of them is by having different types of room overlays. Oops, where are my rooms? I do not have. Oops. Okay, I've got to start the game, and hopefully my rooms will appear. There we are. So you'll see I have a great hall that provides an additional plus 6 morale. I have a barracks which provides an additional 1 morale. I have a washroom which provides 2, and food will provide morale as well. Now, unfortunately, the only food that I'm really running at the moment is meal ice, which has grizzly quality and reduces morale. Ideally, I like to go with barbecue. It's an easy, quick food that you can get that will increase your morale significantly. However, it's going to take a while for hatches to be ready. So I'm thinking what I might do is I have 1 tropical Pacu fry egg here. Now, the thing about Pacus is that their incubation rate for their eggs is very quick, a total of 20% per cycle. Their reproduction rate is also very high as well, something in the neighborhood of 70% per cycle, which means you get a Pacu every 2 cycles or so, as long as they're being fed. Now, I don't know that I want to spend all that much times feeding them because they do require algae, and as we've discovered on this map already, while there is algae around, where is it? See, while there is some algae around here and there, it is not overly plentiful, and I don't have a lot of it quite yet. So the thinking is I give them some food, but I don't give them all the food they're going to need because it is a lot. Now, the question is, where would I put a Pacu farm? And I think I might put it over here. I will, I think what I'll do is that will be the first thing I'm going to start on. I'll need to put some water in there. I'm thinking fresh water rather than polluted water because it will reduce the polluted oxygen in there, which means I am filtering some sort of water from somewhere. So maybe from here, or from there, or perhaps taking this polluted water and moving it up as well. The other thing I'm wanting to do is getting into here, make my electrolyzer so that I can start producing oxygen. So I'm not sure how far I will get along with everything in this video. I am trying to keep them down to about 20 minutes or so a piece. So we will see how far I get along with this video. And yeah, I'll start up first thing though with that Pacu farm because once this guy hatches, I'm not going to be able to kind of move him around very easily anymore because he will be in there, and the only way to get a fish or one of the Pacu is by having a Pacu trap or fish trap, which requires plastic, and I would need to get into petroleum for that. So there's a number of different things that I'm needing to do. In order to get into petroleum, I need reed fiber. I also probably would need to have my electrolyzer set up because I need to pump oxygen into the Atmo suits. So a number of things I'm needing to do. This is kind of the, I guess, next 3 projects or so. We'll start up on the first one, which is the Pacu farm, and once that is started, we will start moving on to some of these other projects. All right. Okay, so this is going to be my Pacu farm. I have, it is 8 tiles in length, going this way. It will be 5 tiles up. I will put 4 or so Pacu in there. Once I have my storage bin, aha, there we are. So, I need to set this to critter eggs and tropical fish fry, because I do have one of those. Put that to a 9 so that one of my duplicates will get it in there as soon as they can. Now, this here is going to contain, I think it contain up to 4 Pacu at a time, which is great. That means that I will be able to have a number of them in here. And outside of here, over in this direction here, the plan is to have an evolution chamber for my Pacu. So over in here, there's going to be a place for my Pacu to who are not big enough, or sorry, it's going to be a place for my Pacu to go in there. All right, let's see. Do I have any? I do have a tropical fish fry. All right, so I'm going to deconstruct this now on a 9. I'll have the egg in there. Wonderful. So this is how it's going to look. So I just realized that I need to do some research, and I didn't have my salinators researched already. So I'm going to have those set up. Hopefully by the time I am ready to get everything plumbed in to get some water in there, I can get that will be done. I think the plan is to take this, plumb it over to here, turn it into clean water, and use that as the water base for my Pacu farm. The research into liquid-based refinement processes, giving me desalinators, has just completed. I am going to put in distillation as well, which will give me the water sieve, so I can start cleaning up some of that polluted water as well, and I can maybe put that into my electrolyzers when it is time. For the moment, I'm going to take my desalinator. I'm going to put it over here. Now, one of the great things about these is if you push the letter O, it will actually flip the front and the back. So this is the input. You want the water coming in to the white, coming out through the green, and it will go into the white there, which will be where it comes out in the end. Now, why do I have this set up? Well, the goal is, with the shipping, to have my auto sweeper eventually going about, oops, hold on, let's see here. Need to see the whole thing. So the auto sweeper will go over here somewheres, and it will not catch this spot. The idea is I'm going to put some automation to put all of the eggs over there. If there's too many eggs, it will go into there, and we will have, that will be how we kind of contain everything here. Now, I did have a problem in my last run through, where if there wasn't enough water, the Pacu would not go high enough into the high enough to use the fish feeders, which is what tames the Pacu. So we'll see if this is a problem again. I'm hoping it's not. It might require a restart to fix it up though. I think that's what that ended up doing it for me. So let's get this desalinator done. Once it is done, then once this is done, then we will then we'll start filling up this tank for my Pacu farm. As you can see, the desalinator is running. We're taking this salt water, turning it into clean water, and putting it into this tank over here. I'm going to have it full to about 4 or 5 level, up to about there, I think. And once that is done, I'll be able to start farming these for food. So this little small fry here, he's flopping around a whole lot. He's fine. He's not going to actually get hurt in this process. They don't seem to die when they're not in water. Once this hits about, I think, 500, he should be okay with the water that he's got there. Now, this probably isn't going to be enough water, so I'll probably have to pull some water from somewhere else. In fact, if I can, maybe I can wall this up and pull this guy over there as well. Unless, no, he's not going to last very much longer at all, is he? Alright, well, this is the beginning of my Pacu farm. We'll see how it goes. We finished up the distillation, rather. I think it's time to start getting into some of these automation, some of these more advanced automation things, because that will allow me to do things, set timers and such, and that will help me with when it comes to my Pacu farm, making sure that I don't overfeed them. Alright, now that I have the work started on this Pacu farm, I'm going to start making an electrolyzer setup, or an oxygen generation setup. So I'm going to start digging down into here, and once I've done that, I will start getting the whole thing laid out. So I have a new set of printables available. There is a suit wearing with supplying and yokel, decorating when yokel, and then this narcoleptic I'm not even considering. Now, of the two, I think I will go with the decorating because it's nice to have the 7 abilities. Even though I'm not ready to do any decorating quite yet, I think that this will be a useful duplicate going into the future. Welcome to the team, Keiko. We'll set her priorities to building digging, just like everyone else. And we'll have her skills as improved carrying. Come on. Now the water that was here initially is not going to be nearly enough for this Pacu ranch. So my plan is to dig upwards into here, get all of this water out of here, and then start moving it over here as well. So it'll just drop down nicely there. I'll have to pull that there, and then maybe that there. And once it comes down, then I'll be able to pump all of that into my farm here. So I'm just realizing this cold area in the rust biome is quite small. I don't know that I'm going to get a lot of cooling out of anything I put in here. So I'm thinking I'm going to need an electrolyzer anyways, so I'm going to put it here. But the plan is probably at some point here to move it to another location because I don't think that there's going to be enough space for it overall. So we'll get this started. I'm going to go with a very small setup to start, and we'll kind of go from there. Eventually I will go into probably go for something called a Rodriguez, which is a very big electrolyzer setup, which gives a lot of oxygen. For now, we're going to start with something small, just to start getting some oxygen generation happening. So I've got my oxygen generator started, just fleshed out here. The plan is to build this guy up. It is approximately Yeah, so if you use the setup, this guy here will last quite a bit. It will supply enough oxygen for all the duplicates that I currently have, I believe. So I should be in good shape going forward kind of into the later game here. It should take a little while for them to get it set up. On top of the on top of this, I'm going to be putting a number of um, hydrogen generators, so that the hydrogen that's being spewed out by the electrolyzer actually ends up going up into and actually powers this whole thing. So it's actually quite a nice setup once you have it going. You don't really have to worry about it once it's going. It kind of runs itself, and you know, there's the occasional time when you might have some problems um, with hydrogen or oxygen getting into the wrong places, but that's usually because you have some sort of a backup somewhere in hydrogen or in oxygen, causing the whole thing to just clog up. So as long as you have a need for the oxygen, you never have to worry about these things once they're going. Alright, so the oxygen overlay is looking an awful lot better. I did cheat a little bit. I put a couple of um, tiles here, for the mesh tiles, just to help increase the airflow just a little bit, just to allow that to just to speed up that process. I'm gonna put, I think, one more maybe here, just because I'm seeing a big bottleneck of the carbon dioxide here, and I want some of this to go up there instead. Once this electrolyzer is completed, I think that all of my problems will be solved, and yeah. It's time for some new printables. I don't really need a doctor. It's time for some new printables. So, I've got animal husbandry, irritable bowel, fluorescent, but 7 animal husbandry. That is tempting. A Drecket and a doctor with pacifist. Uh, you know what? I can survive without any fluorescent. We will welcome to the team, Troy. There we go. Now we have our 7 animal husbandry. You will be our official animal, our official ranch duplicate. Here we go. Set you up with farming. Once you have that, you will be critter ranching, and you will do that for the rest of the game. Put your skills. Oops, hold on. Priorities 2. Digging and building down. I do not want you doing any of that unless it's absolutely required. Ranching up, even though it won't matter yet. We will have you also on maybe operating. Yeah, we'll do that. No, maybe not operating. So this Pacu ranch is coming along nicely. Now, I have noticed that I don't think he's actually able to get any higher than this in the water tank here. So I think I'm probably going to have to reload this game, save and reload, and then he'll be able to actually go to higher heights in the tank here. Fortunately, that is just one of the, I guess, one of the many bugs in the game at the moment. I'm going to put in a storage bin here. Then once this is done, I will start putting in some shipping lines in here. Oops, I actually don't have enough things for shipping, so I'm going to have to do a little bit more research to get these shipping lanes up and running. So shipping is where? It is somewheres here. Transit tubes. Where is shipping? Shipping. I have auto sweepers already, so I need to get to the rest of the shipping items, which are right there. So we'll go all the way over to there. I think that is all I will need for now. Yes, once those are done, I will be ready to have the automation set for my Pacu farm here. And I think I'm going to want to get it to at least there, maybe up a little bit higher up to there. I'm not sure exactly what the level this fish feeder is needing to be at. I don't know, it's because it bugs out on me like this, I'm not sure exactly what I'm needing to do for this in order to get. So the Pacu farm is almost ready. Before I'm able to kind of continue on though, I will be needing to have some automation in here just to make sure that there's not too many eggs or Pacu in here at a time. Any extra Pacu will end up in here, and that will be kind of their home. The one thing to note is that this Pacu, at this moment, I think he's bugged. He's just kind of walking along just on the bottom here. He's not, doesn't seem to accept that there's anything up above that he can move into. So I think a reload should actually fix that up. Once that's done, then everything should be good to go. Now, the one thing I am not positive about is how high this water level needs to be. I think if it goes up to here and fills this tile completely, which I think is 1,000 kilograms, it should be fine, but I am not positive. So we will see how high this needs to go in order for that fish to be fed. The other problem is that if he's going to get bugged down here, I think he might not make it up to the top anyway, so I'm not going to do that reload until after I have got that done. Another thing to note is that this is almost done, this electrolyzer. I'm going to add a gas reservoir right there. Yeah, right there. Oops, I need to remodel some of this piping. I'm gonna use my snipping tool. I quite like this snipping tool. Put that there, take this like that. We'll put this guy here, ventilation pipes over to, to there. I'll put a gas bridge right there. And what that will do is that will actually divert some of the air out initially until it stabilizes. What will happen is this system's going to go out. It's going to pump out all of the carbon dioxide, everything else, and I don't want that getting into my hydrogen generator. So that will all end up in. I think I'm just going to dump it out into the. Maybe haven't figured out how I'm going to deal with that. So here I'm just demonstrating because I want to modify how I am putting these pipes in, how I can use that snipping tool to quickly rearrange how these pipes are looking, and there we go. That's exactly how I want it to look. Perfect. Yeah, maybe I'll put this into a gas reservoir. Yeah, that's probably the best solution for this, and then I can maybe sort those gases later on. So maybe I'll put a reservoir up top here. I'll need to do a little bit of deconstruction in order to get things opened up enough for it there. Once that is done, then I think I'll be ready to get this going once I get it some power. So I forgot to add some piping for my oxygen here. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm actually setting up the piping here, and I'm using some gas bridges to kind of move the air a little bit more efficiently. Now, what happens is that the air will go into the gas bridge and go to the exit of the gas bridge. If there is no way, if there's nowhere for it to go, or if it is full, each of these gas vents only has a maximum of how much is it? I always forget. I think it's something like 2,000 kilograms, so that it can go up to through here. So if it can go out here on the top one, great. It will go out the top one. But if it starts filling up and this all fills up here, it'll stop here, go to that one instead, and so on and so forth. So what will happen is that we'll actually start having more gas coming out. We'll actually be putting most of the oxygen that's coming out into the top of our base, and it will slowly be going down into the bottom of our base, saturating the rest of the base as it comes. That means also that probably what I'm going to have to do fairly soon is to move these oxyfern down here somewhere so that they are able to um, they're able to grow because they do need carbon dioxide to grow, and currently they do not have any. They do not have a lot. It's a lot of chlorine. So if I put them down here somewhere, that'll probably help out an awful lot when it comes to them converting some of that carbon dioxide into oxygen. So I had to do a reload, and my Pacu, tropical Pacu, is now eating from the fish feeder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this to 10 kilograms. I'm going to put this to priority of 6, and I'll put this to a priority of 5. He will be tamed shortly here, and then I will start having Pacu. At the moment, hold on, what's going on with my, looks like I do not have any coal. So I will see if this will, see if somebody is going to give some coal. There we are. You know what, it's probably a good idea to put a storage bin here, beside my coal, and then put an automation, put a shipping auto sweeper right there. Yeah, I knew that was coming. So I've discovered that I do not have a mechatronics engineer. However, Barkley here, who is a critter rancher, I don't think he's going to continue to be a critter rancher because he has very little skill in ranching and animal husbandry. Simply what he's getting from here. So what my plan is, skills grab him, give him improved carrying 1 and 2, improved tinkering, and mechatronics engineering. That should be enough to get him there. And then I'm going to start setting up a bunch of shipping with him. So get the skill scrubber. All it does is it resets all of his skills back to default of nothing. Once that's done, I will assign him, and he will be my new mechatronics engineer. So I thought I had everything I needed for the oxygen generator. However, I was missing a few things. Before I do that, I do want to move all of this debris out because I will never go back in there. And that will just kind of clear everything, and I can actually use it later. I'm going to put this and cancel that build for just a second so I can go in here, grab everything I want out of here, and once that is out, then I will get this oxygen generator ready to go. So I've set a storage over here, set it to everything, sweep only, put the sweep command over here so that they will go back and forth real quick and put everything. Alright, now that I have cleared out the oxygen generator, I am going to put in a water pump and we will see this thing start to get going. Okay, so normally it takes a little bit of time for this to even out. Because I had set this up a little early, what happened is that um, the oxygen generator had created a vacuum, creating a balance very quickly. So as you can see, we have hydrogen here, we have oxygen down here. I've got this set to 450. I've got this set to 250 and 250. I think that will work. Now, what's going to happen is that the hydrogen is going to come over here. It's going to fill up the hydrogen generator, which will start up, which will get the battery going. Why is the battery not filling? Hold on. I'm going to take and snip that. What's going to happen is this is going to start filling everything up over here, I think. Come on, get the battery. There we go. There we are. So the battery is starting to fill. What will happen is that the generator will fill this all up with oxygen. Oops, gonna set this to 60 and 90. Nope. Now I do not want anyone else coming in here ever again, so I'm going to close that off completely from everyone else, so you cannot get in again. As you can see, we had a bit of break. Oh, somebody walked in. It's caused a bit of breakage here. It destroyed the balance of the. So we're gonna get a bit of damage. That's, I guess, nothing to be done about it. And once this is all sealed up, we will not have any duplicates coming in or out. Then we will no longer have to worry about oxygen generation again. Notice the oxygen here, or the gas levels in here, are not ideal, but I don't really care because they don't really have any effect on anything. And here we see this will start filling up once it gets through this. Notice it's getting damaged because of all of the oxygen going in, the wrong element. Now that everything is done, it should fix itself up. Once it's fixed, everything should go back to normal, and there should be no problems from going from here. Now, this should have enough to power the pump over here, the water sieve, and everything in here is powered by that. Alright, so I gave Barkley a skill scrub. I'm going to give him mechatronics engineering, which will allow him to build the shipping units. Now, the wonderful thing about shipping is that I can put a storage bin here, fill it with coal, and the auto sweeper will automatically take the coal from the bin, as long as it's within this area here. It puts the coal from the bin into the coal generator, so I will not have to worry about duplicates putting coal back into the coal generator. There's been some brownouts because nobody has. So, my Pacu farm is set up. I'm just going to show you how this is going to work. Now, this tropical Pacu just finished reproducing. It just laid an egg. So what will happen when it lays an egg? Normally it'll lay an egg somewhere in here. It might lay it in there. If it does, doesn't matter. So what will happen when the egg is laid, it will be picked up by this auto sweeper, put into this conveyor loader. The conveyor loader will then ship it this way into this conveyor shutoff. Now the conveyor shutoff has some automation going to a critter sensor, which is set to 4 critters or below. So if there are less than 4 critters, and including eggs, in this area, it will activate and it will send the critter egg down into this area here. If there are more than 4 critters, it will go this way along there into this area here, where the egg will eventually hatch and we will have a Pacu. The Pacu there will just stay there, and eventually it will die of old age, and we will use that for cooking some food later on. Once, while in there, the Pacu will lay 1 egg in its life cycle, and that is all it will do. It will just stay there until it dies of old age and ends up turning into meat, which we will then use to cook for our duplicates to eat. So, we'll take a look at this in action. I've got Barkley here. I think he's going to go and pick up the egg, put it into the conveyor loader, and once he's done that, we will see how this will work. Alright, so, picks up the egg, puts it in there, it goes up, over here, it will go down into there, and over. Now, if, for example, we change this to 3, or to 3, what will happen is this egg will go up because the number is above 3, or 3 or above, it will go into there. Okay? Now, I do not want that to be the case. I want it to stay in here. I'm going to put this to 4. And I'm going to switch this so that it says click allow manual use so that my duplicates will not grab this egg one more time. So that is how this will be working. Alright, so I've got my Pacu farm completed. I will be very quickly having some wonderful fish fries using the grill. It'll take a couple of cycles for that whole thing to sort itself out. However, once it is, this will be a very reliable source of food. It will also be a good source of lime, which is important for creating steel. The lime is kind of the thing that is one of the hardest things to get. I have my oxygen generation system here. As you can see, we've got hydrogen on the top, oxygen on the bottom, and it is flowing very nicely into my base. The hydrogen here is actually powering this whole setup, and it's going up into there. My oxygen levels have become pretty good. I still have a lot of carbon dioxide over here. However, this will slowly get to the point where it's ending up all in there. So, managed to finish up 2 big projects this video. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it right there, and that will be it. Next time, I think my plan will be to go into this little area with oil, get this oil reservoir set up, and probably figure out how to get myself an industrial brick started. At least get myself some steel so that I can start thinking about cooling off the cool steam vent, or else the saltwater geyser here, so that I can have plenty of water for my electrolyzers here. All right. Well, thank you very much. Hope you had a great time, and we will see you soon.